Hey, what's up? What's happening? Happy Sunday. Well, I don't know if it's a happy Sunday, but it's a Sunday. I have I have Drew Benzion with me on the spot. I don't know if I should say that because somebody said Didi on the spot. So, but this is Clyde the Wanderer,
I like it.
KLA the Wanderer. Yeah, yeah, with Drew Benzion. Your name is Greek, right?
It's Hebrew. Close.
Hebrew. Okay. Yeah, I noticed. Like couple of I took a course like in Hebrew studies, like with the handwriting and stuff.
Hmm.
Like I had this teacher, and I know you gotta like it's almost like Arabic. You have to write with the left. You start with the left or read through the left or something like that. Yeah, and she had me like like look at the alphabets because you had the symbol, and I was like, wow, yeah, she is. She is because you got the A. Is that an A if I'm not mistaken?
It is, yes. Yes.
Yeah, see, yeah, I still remember, because you I had to write it, repetitious. So how you been?
Doing good. Things are busy over here. You probably already heard me say that I'm a personal trainer. I work at a couple different locations. I'm also a coach, so I've got some business on the side. But things are very busy, even though it's typically around fall time, like winter time. Oh, this is great. Sorry, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent. So, typically around now, as a trainer, I've been a trainer for like 3 years. I've seen the clients kind of decline and on the coaching side as well. And that's just because like holidays and stuff like that and people taking vacations, etc. But before I let you move on, there's one good point about this situation actually. When people sign on with me in like October, November, September, October, November,
Mm.
that fall area, that's when I know that those clients are going to be the ones that are on point and the ones that are going to get results as long as they're staying with me, right? Like they have to stay with me through like the holidays. But what I'm saying is like for you guys out there who you might be in a spot where you want to transition to something different with your fitness, consider this like this may help you really reach your goal, right? So the goal is hard as it is, right? Whatever your goal may be. For me, of course, it's bodybuilding, whatever. And that goal changes year to year, sometimes season to season. Um, but it's gonna be hard. Okay, we know this. We already know this, and that's why we're putting it off. But think about this: if you were to sign on, let's say you sign on with your goal, with your coach, with your trainer, with your new job, whatever it is, during these like harder times, like when schedules are crazy, when you're not exactly sure what your meals are gonna be, it's gonna be extra hard. Okay. So then when you're successful, how much more like successful are you going to feel knowing that like okay, you not only completed your mission, but you completed your mission with an added layer of difficulty. So that is like the mindset I have personally. Like okay, for example, I'm in the gym. I see the weight. Ah, that's scary. I don't want to do it. Mm. In that situation, I'm going to have to add more weight. so So it's the same. But anyway, yeah, sorry. That was supposed to be an intro, but it ended up being my TED
Nah,
talk.
that's all good. I mean, that's all good. Like when you say they decline, they just quit and stuff. Like they'll do it, but they're not consistent.
Like like yeah, some of the clients, it depends on the situation, but in this exact situation, I think it
Right,
comes to like they commit, around, let's say they're committing around the fall and they fall off before the year ends. And I
right,
have a couple that I think are going to do that. That's just because people tend to be it's easy to react on emotions, right? And be like, oh my God, this trainer's in front of me, or this goal's in front of me. I have this Christmas party in December I want to look good for, or I have a photo shoot in a couple weeks and I think like I need to see if I can figure it out under the wire, something like that.
right.
Um, that's not, you're not looking at the long term, okay? And that's the whole thing. It's not like you just get to a goal and then you just win the game and then your life is over. Like there's
Mhm.
going to be more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for them, some people aren't looking outside the smaller situation and like putting it, like perceptualizing it into like the whole of their life, which is okay. That's a skill that you have to practice. And also simply, people just don't want to do it. And we live in a
Yeah.
way, I mean, we live in a way these days where unfortunately the world around us has made our life easy, okay? So what does that mean? Like, okay, since it's so easy, we don't have to overcome very many challenges just to go about our day-to-day life, meaning we don't actually build up that so when problems do arise, whether it be physical or mental,
Yeah.
they have a big issue because they've never seen the problems before.
Come
It's
on,
like when,
person.
yeah, go for
Yeah, I need a sit. I got a pillow.
it. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it's a matter of they don't have the inner, I wouldn't even say it's motivation because the motivation is there. That's the thing. The motivation is there, but the problem is the motivation goes away. So what's
Right.
underneath the motivation? Like, is there a strong why? Because that's what's going to keep you going. For most people, if that why is a short-term goal, they're going to have short-term results. So, and like I said, most people just don't want to do it because it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. I mean, it's a hard thing to do to be consistent in the gym, to train with a trainer, and I'm a hard trainer. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So
What you
I
what
understand.
you no what you like what you offer your clients like what it how do they benefit from you from your experience as a trainer?
So uh, I'll start with saying when I can't tell you without telling you a little bit of backstory. I used to be super overweight. I lost about 80 pounds in my journey, a little over 80 pounds. I wanted to be a bodybuilder, so I started my journey in about 5.5 years ago. I lost a little bit of weight. I whatever. Here I am now, right? So
Mhm.
I have been through a lot of things with the nutrition, with the training, with the supplements, with other clients. I'm sorry, with other coaches, like with coaches that I've hired. I've done various, various styles of training and such. So my experience in itself is I think a big component to why I'm successful and why it works. And because anyone can pick up that, that book, the NASM book or
Yeah.
whatever it is, and get their cert or whatever, and try to train. But the difference between a good trainer and a great trainer is pairing your knowledge and your experience and adapting it, like pairing those together and adapting it to each client. So what I mean by that is you're going to have to personalize each individual thing to exactly that person. That's what people don't realize is you have to have the experience first to know what it is, and then you have to have the knowledge then to to take action afterwards. But anyway, so my experience, I have formal education. I am double certified. I've been a trainer for a few years. But anyway, to answer your original question, which was, how do they benefit from me? Um, when it comes to my training, I'll directly say my training. Uh, I train people in person, and those people I see a few times a week. And I also, they are expected to train on their own, which they don't always do. And then I have a coaching business, so I'm just going to talk about the in person clients because I think that's what you're asking. So I I think halfway already answered it, but the other half is many clients need somebody to hold their hand. But then
Yeah.
again, there's some clients that genuinely need the education. So we do a consultation and we figure out like where is this person at. So the answer can vary, but in general, I would say a big part of my training is intensity, and a big part of why they get results is the intensity. because that's actually what matters. So it doesn't matter. Of course, we want their numbers. Their I'm sorry, we want their performance and the weight lifted to go up. But what I'm more concerned about, strictly from a results like basis, is intensity in the gym. That goes for everyone who's doing anything. Like you can't go there and just go through the motions if you want something to happen. If you go
Yeah,
through the motions, you're going to get maintenance. But if some people don't know how to train to that point, or they need someone to push them to that point, because not everyone has that intrinsic, like, I don't know what to call it, like, grittiness is what I called it last time, but it's more of like that spirit of like pushing yourself to the max, like being able to not only tolerate it, but to look for it, seek it out. So, a big, I mean, I will say a lot of times I feel like a therapist because the clients sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. And that's fine, right? That's fine. But if it starts to get in the way of the workout, then I'm gonna have to start charging double, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah, so intensity education is my other like main pillar. I want to make sure they have the correct knowledge, and I tend to over educate a little bit. I think just because I've been in a situation where I didn't know anything, and because I didn't know anything, it went poorly for a long time. And then you've got your habits down or whatever, and then you're trying to do something different and it's a little late for that. So I'm trying to correct their lifestyle habits. Meanwhile, I'm also very interested in correcting their like day-to-day like physical movement patterns and all that stuff. I am One of the priorities I have kind of developed over the years is getting people to move right. I don't know if that's really a personal trainer thing or more of a like a sports science kind of thing. But I know physical therapists spend most of their time doing this, uh, for a good reason too, because a lot of the people that come to me have some mm, major problems with how they walk and stand and just use their
yeah,
body. So the goal is to get that corrected, so no more risk for injury. And then for those older folks, just keeping them stable and try to keep them as safe as possible, as healthy as possible for as long as possible. So that's another thing I keep in mind when I'm training them. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to improve their overall life, I guess. I'm kind of like trying to do it all. But I think that when it comes to personal training or training in general, they're
yeah,
hiring us. They're hiring us for who you are as a trainer. They're not hiring you for the knowledge that you like read about or whatever. Like you need to, have a certain level of connection with them. And that's something that like that's the heart of why I do it for me. Because I I mean, I love to connect with people and I love to, help them, lead them and help them to their next, milestone, whatever. Um, but now I forgot what I was talking about. Dang.
yeah.
Okay.
I could probably follow up what you're saying. Like when you're saying like help with their movements, like their mobility,
Oh, yes.
and that's important,
Right.
because after a while, my father, right now he's 80 years old. He's like I would say 82 or something like that, and he has problems moving, like walking. Like if we walk into the block, it's gonna take maybe I don't even think I'm exaggerating, like a half hour just for him to kind of like finish the block. And sometimes
Yeah.
we gotta use like a Uber or something like that. So
Oh.
I mean, yeah, like the other day, he was kind of urinating blood and stuff, and so I had to take him. First, I had to take him to the bank too, because I had to pay the rent and stuff. And so then I had to, you know, then we had to use the Uber and stuff to go to the hospital. The hospital's not too far from us,
Hmm.
but even like let's say like just going to the supermarket, it takes time for him to get there. So like me, like, like I would say growing up, I was always stiff too. And then, I think somebody was telling me that suggested that I stretch and stuff like that. Because mostly I was self-taught, and I do yoga and meditate and all this stuff, and stuff. So I know like a friend of mine. I'm sorry to go keep going on and on. I have this is friend. He was like a personal trainer a while back. He had like a training center and stuff, but it broke. It kind of he doesn't have it anymore. So he would help people with movements and stuff like that majority of the time. So I get that. Because I think what the psychologically what you was saying, like people like with eating habits and stuff why they overweight. It's like because probably could be psychological. And so you could be like you could be a therapist, but you're not a therapist. That type of thing. Because I watch like sometimes I'll catch on TLC with the 500-pound people, the 1,000-pound
Tammy.
sisters and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy. Yeah, they how they was growing up and they was overweight and people would look down on them and
Right.
that more they would just eat and stuff like that. So yeah, it can be traumatizing and stuff. So you
Yeah.
know,
I definitely actually so going back to how you started, before I comment on that, psychologically, that I think is the biggest component, um, because our body, that's the brain is what controls everything. Like, so
yeah,
if we can work on reframing the hard thing, or like finding a way to look forward to it, finding a way to enjoy it, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So yes, I am using like a bit of like psychological tools to like try and work around some of their problems and hopefully establish some good habits, like, because
yeah,
they're gonna be on their own one day.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, yeah, the life of being extremely overweight, I can't like comment on, being like to that level. Not many people can. But
yeah,
I will say, like, yes, of course it was traumatizing. Like, it put strain on everything in my life. I mean, I um there was a moment in time when I looked in the mirror and I just kind of felt like, man, is that even me? Like, that doesn't look like me. You know what I'm saying? So like there was a point where I kind of woke up, but yeah, there's all the little things are kind of what all the little things add up, and eventually you're just like, I can't do this anymore, you know?
yeah.
But I definitely got bullied, of course. I got bullied.
Yeah, and
um,
we all have,
right. I
we all
mean,
have.
that's fine, and that's a common experience.
Yeah,
But worse than that, like, it my family wasn't very nice about it,
yeah,
regardless of the fact that they were overweight themselves. But and then I think the bigger challenges were more of like my own self-worth and my own like sense of identity, and overall the reason I kind of changed my life was because my mental health was so bad. I was like, man, I need to do something. Like, I was desperate, I was like, I need to do something because I can't do this anymore. And I thought, okay, well, let's start the basics. Thank God I thought this way. Not everyone does. Let's start the basics and try and go back and fix all the things that, I can, and see where to go from there. So we eliminate the problems that I've created. And for me, that was poor nutrition, lack of exercise, etc. So I fixed that up. It actually it helped. It helped. I won't even go there. But yeah, I think it seems like like a different person, where I am now. It's hard to like put myself back to, but it's hard to put myself back into that lifetime also, because I was like 18. I was like, when did I start this? Yeah, I was about 18. So that's when I was
so you
my
24? You're
yeah,
20?
I'm almost
Okay.
25, yeah. So, um, but yeah, I think the bullying was pretty bad for me because I'm kind of a sensitive person, but at the same
Yeah,
time, like, it helps you like learn how to have a thick skin, you know? And in bodybuilding, you have to have a thick skin. So it's like, again, I think for most and for me, your problems are kind of almost like designed for you to set you up for later in a way. So you don't, maybe you don't know it yet, but like later it will serve you. And for me, like the tension it created in my family, the trend and the way that my peers treated me, it sucked really bad. It affected me, but and it affected me long term. But the way it affected me long term was a positive way. So at first it was negative, but now it's positive. Um, but overall, the worst part of it was just feeling like I didn't feel like I trusted my body. Does that make sense? Like I went to okay, I rarely share this moment. So this is a great way to explain how it feels. I went on a hike with my girlfriend at the time. We went on we went on one that I really wanted to do for a long time because it was in my hometown and it was a mountain and it had a beautiful lookout at the top and it was like a glass lookout that had been built and it was just like just unbeatable. Like but I got to we did this hike. It was about 2 hours up, like it was a hard one. The incline was intense. Like we no, it was more than 2 hours. I think it was 3 hours. She went all the way up to the lookout, but I was scared because this is when I was like untrained, and this is like one of my turning points, I would say. But I was standing kind of like between the lookout and the trail. There's like this rocky area. It's like literally the tip of the mountain. It is terrifying. I'm scared of heights too. So, but I just didn't trust that I
that
could.
can't be me. You know how they say, black people, we don't do certain things.
Yeah,
I know some black people, not every black person, but we just don't. Not too many of us go to.
I don't blame you. I wish I hadn't. Well, I kind of okay. So when I got there, I wasn't able to get to the lookout. Okay, because I was just like stuck. I was kind of just stuck there,
Yeah,
and she was like encouraging me, and she was just like, "Oh, you're okay." You know, she's trying to hold out her hand, but I just didn't like trust that my body was capable of making it.
yeah.
So I gave up, and that sucks. Like that sucked really, really bad. That was hard. Like that I felt like defeated, you know, because I had wanted to go
Don't beat
there.
yourself up. Look, don't beat yourself up. I mean, like I remember like months ago, like I remember this Uber driver was taking me to Manhattan and the windows was open and we I had to he had to pass the bridge and he was speeding. It felt like I almost had like a panic attack a little bit because I was holding on to the thing because I'm
Yeah,
scared of heights and stuff like that and just seeing the bridge it just kind of I gotta like kind of train my mind like just to block it away but
right.
me
Yeah.
going to the mountain that ain't me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was definitely a turn, like a moment where I was like, okay, I need to do something because I just felt like
Yeah,
I wasn't fit enough. And yeah, I was afraid of heights, so that doesn't help. But
yeah.
it was more like, okay, I don't think I'll make it. So, that's why I like, yeah, that's kind of like why I like to share that one because I think that's way better than when I say, "Oh yeah, I looked in the mirror and I didn't like it." Like, no, that was a
Yeah.
real life thing, and there were other things that happened too that were like, "Okay, I just feel like I can't do this. Like I'm not strong enough. Like I'm not." And that's terrible. For
Yeah.
me, that was very that made my self-esteem just like go through the
Did you go
floor.
all the way like how she did though eventually, or you just didn't
Oh,
do it?
you know, I need to revisit that hike. I haven't done it again because it's so long and it's so hard, but I want to do it. I should do it again.
Mm. Good luck. I that's all I could say. Well, you got some guests. You got your boy All the Rage on stage. What up, kid? And you got my guy Rolando G. Really glad to see you are doing physical therapy, Drew. You are a blessing to those you help.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like yeah, he also says, "Hey, Clyde, glad to see Drew still looking awesome, sensational. Keep it up."
Oh, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
mean, yeah, like I guess it served you well because you almost look like you could be Scarlett Johansson in the cosplay.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Is that I'm looking for a Halloween costume. I don't know what to do. I want to do
yeah,
something
you could be the Black Widow of it. When I seen you last week, I was like, she looked like Lilu from The Fifth Element.
fifth. Yeah, I've gotten that one. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have to remember that because every time I try to think about it, I forget what you guys said.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
got it. I'll take note.
yeah.
Love it.
He also says, keep your head up and keep moving forward.
Mhm. Definitely.
So, yeah. So back to the bodybuilding thing. You last competed what, like 21?
Yeah, my last one was
Yeah.
2021.
That was your first one or
I had
your
that was
first
my first.
competition?
Yeah, it was my first season, so I did 2 competitions. And really what I wanted to do was I've always had long-term plan, but what I wanted to do was get my feet in the water, see what it's about, make sure I like it, and of course I loved it. And then take some time off season and then get back on stage when I'm ready, which is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
so like, so when you first started, like, like when you first started bodybuilding, like, how was it for you? Like, kind of. I know you said this because I remember I asked the question, but like, because I'm learning too myself. It
mhm.
just,
No, you're
you
good. I
know,
trust me, like I know that like okay, interviewing people's hard and I'm don't worry. Don't worry at all. Yeah, like I totally understand. Um, like about sorry, I was gonna go off on another go ahead.
no, I was just saying, like, how was it? How was it for you? Like, like, cause you said you was overweight. Was you that bad? Like, was you like was you real chunky or was you fat? Like you couldn't move or
No, it wasn't to that extent. My highest weight was 220, so I was about a size 20 and like in US sizes. So I don't know how to else to it didn't affect it didn't affect too much. It didn't affect movement. It didn't affect anything like that. But it was going that direction. Had I gained maybe like 50 more pounds, it would have been almost there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like you I remember you said that you basically started because you seen a bodybuilder like in a gym and you was
Hmm.
kind of a bit mesmerized and stuff. I
Yes.
remember.
Yes. There was like, like people like bodybuilders of the 2000s have always,
Yeah,
talked about their stories and been like, oh, I saw a magazine, I saw Muscle and Fitness, whatever. But
yeah,
for me, since I'm a little bit younger, it's not like that. But the real life scenarios, that's what it was for me. When I saw that woman, I was like I had looked at pictures of bodybuilders, but I'd never seen one in person.
mhm,
So to see that in person, to see like the I don't know, the size, it was shocking. I remember
yeah,
standing next to a woman like in line for I was trying to check in, and again, this was when I was like 15. I remember standing in line next to her. She had like two little kids by her feet. And I was looking at her leg, and her quad was like
yeah.
coming off her leg, and I just did not understand what that was. I kept looking at her like, how is that? But yeah, so I loved the look, of course. I love the intensity. I'm an intense person. So I love the intensity. That's what drew me towards it.
Oh, okay. All right. So like you did physique. No, you did what division were you in?
So I did the wellness division.
Wellness, okay. And you're gonna switch. What made you switch to wellness to physique?
Oh, I like that one. I would say when you watch the wellness girls, you'll notice that
Yeah,
their presentation is very like feminine and like kind of like flirty, which is okay, but that's not me. So that was one of the main reasons. Also, I was looking at obviously I was always thinking, okay, what is the body that I want, And it's not the wellness body. Like I think it's gorgeous, but I already kind of have it. Like I don't want that. Like
yeah,
I want a more balanced, like muscular. I want it to look more athletic. That's just how I want to walk around. So that's how I chose my
yeah,
division. I was like, I want, overall good amount of muscle, overall balance, like strong looking physique, still feminine, like
yeah,
still beautiful, and it fit in that category. And also the entire time that when I first started bodybuilding, I knew that I wanted to be in the bigger divisions. I knew I didn't want to do the smaller ones. So I knew all
yeah.
along. Yeah.
So you started doing wellness, and that took, and then you wanted to move up.
Yeah, my coaches had
Yeah,
recommended that I do the wellness division because of like my structure and all that. And it was my first show. They were like, "We want you to do well, so just do this." I should have just done like gone with my heart, but it's okay. Like it's done
yeah,
now, and I did have a successful competition. Like it went really well. That was 2021. So I spent the last couple
yeah,
years really trying to build muscle and trying to find a coach that I could like sync with. Her name is the coach I have now. Her name's Ariana Tate, by the way. But I went through a couple coaches and I had to heal some of my like I had a coach who caused we had some problems with my like hormones due to like the protocol that I was following. So
yeah,
I had to heal myself and I had to get my health in check before I could do anything. So I gained a lot of weight. Like not a lot, but I gained about 15 pounds. And that was really, really hard because it wasn't like immediately after the competition. It was about like a year after. And I knew it would slowly, gradually, and that's fine, that's healthy, but I had to gain some weight because I had to like fix everything up and I had to fix my food relationship because I had some problems that came up. So anyway, I competed in 2021 in wellness, like you said, and it's just been like a long time coming. I'm gonna compete again so I just wanted to like say that, but I'm gonna compete again in April, here in Bellevue, Washington, at the Emerald Cup, which is a pretty big show, really big one. So I'm gonna I'm gonna bring it. It's gonna be
yeah,
like a
yeah,
debut. It's gonna be like a debut for me. And this is the first time I've competed since I've become a trainer. So like I really want to kill it because all my clients are gonna be there and like my coworkers are gonna come, I'm sure. Like people from the gym are like, I'm definitely coming. So like the pressure's on.
yeah. Was you like on your first show? Was you nervous? Like,
Yes.
of course, because you're not probably used to like all of the people looking at you and stuff like that. So
It wasn't as much the people looking, it was I felt it. I'm okay with being like, I used to compete with horses, so I don't have really stage
yeah,
fright as much as I felt like I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing exactly, even though I did know when you get nervous and then you forget what you're supposed to do. It's like
yeah,
that. So like it was that, but I kept trying to like hold it back, hold the nervousness back so I could keep posing, and it worked out, but like man, I was up there and I was like shaking. I remember like shaking, like not because of my muscles, but because I was so
yeah,
nervous.
yeah,
Oh, wait. Right before I got on stage, the very first time, the tan, like, so the men and women who do like the tan service for competitions also like will oil you up right before you and do touch-ups right before you go on stage, right? So I'm backstage and the line is queued up ready for my class, and it's my class. It's my very first time getting on the stage ever. And I she was like oiling me up, and she stands up, and I grab her by the shoulders, and I'm like, I can't do this. And she's like, yes you can, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm gonna have a panic attack. She's like, I was like, I think I'm gonna cry. She's like, no, you got it, just think about the music and remember, like, we're just here for fun. But yeah, just think about the music, and that's all. Just go up there and focus on that, and like focus on your energy. And I was looking at her, I was holding her, and I was looking at her like she had like this little halo and this like glowing.
Yeah,
I was like, you just saved my life.
yeah. I was I was interviewing somebody last week, and they told me that they was nervous. They had to like take medication to kind of calm down.
They had
Yeah,
to.
man. Yeah, they had to. Well, if if I'm not mistaken, but that's what they told me. So
maybe they
I
already had,
mean,
did they already have like anxiety?
they probably did. I mean, like I I could imagine just being like in front of people, and I don't bodybuild, so but I could imagine just being in front of people, and you got to do these poses and stuff. On wellness, like how many poses you do? Like four, right? You do like four
Yeah.
poses.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, so yeah, I mean that's not very easy to do, just to
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily the, like I said, it's not really the posing itself. Like that part you can
yeah,
practice and get it down to muscle memory, and that's the goal. It's just the whole like the pressure, like the pressure of being on stage. I guess it is somewhat the people watching, but more of, I think me just being new was a big part of it. And now I know next time I get on stage, I might be nervous, but I think it's going to be more of like, kind of like, it's the same feeling I get. I think it's going to be the same feeling I get before a workout. Like you get like kind of excited, like kind of
yeah,
agitated. It is a little bit nerve wracking, but you're just like ready to go.
yeah. Well, all the way George Page, lots of legends competed at the Emerald Cup. Sheila Black and the late Shelley Beatty competed at that show.
Mhm.
And
It's a big one.
he says, I remember one lady telling me she took half of Xanny, I don't know,
Xanax. Ah,
Xanax, okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, people just got different type of I don't know, because I was asking her, do you smoke weed? Did you ever try smoking weed to relax you? Because it do kind of relax you, so you're nervous. So,
Uh, the the first show, my coach, or no, the first show I was with a friend, and we were
mhm,
like preparing to get on stage again. And he made me take, like, I never drink anyway. Like I just don't like drink at all because of bodybuilding. But he made me take like two shots before I get on, and I felt fucked up. It wasn't good. I was wearing heels.
yeah,
But it went well, and it did help. Maybe it did help a little. I think it did help a little bit because I was still nervous
yeah.
that show. That was my second show. I was still nervous, but it wasn't as bad. I felt like I kind of flowed with it a little bit better. So maybe it did help.
Well, why
But
why you stop? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What made you like why you took a break? I don't know. You said that if you did you say did you tell me why you took time off or
oh, time off from like the stage.
yeah,
Yeah, so that was, well, I kind of, to put it briefly, I took the time off to fix my mental health, fix my physical health,
okay,
and then also find a coach that would work for me and get everything squared away so I could set myself up for better. But I needed to gain muscle. That was really the big goal. Before any of all that stuff I just said, I need to gain size. I need to gain size. I still do. I mean, I still do. But that's why.
Do you have like body dysmorphia and stuff like that? Because I know, like I hear a lot of bodybuilders, they talk about body dysmorphia. They're not big enough, or
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a mixed bag. Like what you get, you
yeah,
never know. For me, since I was like fat before, I get weird like thoughts about like that I look. Body dysmorphia is more of a disorder where you kind of like, I think it's better put like you can't differentiate between what is reality and what is your mind's like telling you look
yeah,
like. So I would look in the mirror at my worst. I would look in the mirror at times and see my body and be like, that's not even me. Like I felt like I was what's the word? Not not depersonal person. What is the word? Lots of dissociating, dissociating. So that made my life really hard because
yeah,
I work at a gym. I need to be connected with my body so that I can train properly, so I can train my clients properly, and also so that uh I can act like positive, motivational, all those things. That's how I need to show up for work. So, and for myself when it comes to the training. So it is really challenging for that. Like there were days where I couldn't even leave my apartment. Like that's at the worst of it. And I don't experience that anymore. But
yeah,
that was something that I did go through. And the body dysmorphia, it goes both ways. So on one side it's like, okay, for me, it's not so much I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I'm so tiny. But I bet if I was like the opposite story, that's what I would think. But I look and I think like, okay, I don't even look like I work out, or I don't even look like whatever. Like it's really absurd because it's wrong, but it doesn't matter. So those psychological thoughts that I can kind of talk to myself with those, and I can reason those out. But when it comes to the dissociation, that's the hardest part about it for me. So there were days also like I would avoid the mirror at all costs, but then, like I say, I work at a gym. So I'd get there and then I would have to be like holding it together and they don't know what's going on, of course, and it's not really their business. So I'm not going to go and tell them. But yeah, it has been challenging. But I'll tell you what, like the way that you can, get through it and adapt to it is kind of acknowledge what it is, and be like, okay, this is what I have in front of me right now, presently. For me, it's like snap myself back to reality, back to like right now, because as soon as I start going in my head, like I'm no longer present, and that's at the end of the day, like that's what pulls me out of it. Is that I'm thinking to myself like, all we have right now is right now, so
yeah,
we gotta stop. We
yeah,
gotta stop. But
yeah.
it's really hard. You have to like develop your own little mantras or whatever it is to like get yourself to a place where you can feel better. Cause you do, like, for me, it's like, okay, I don't need to suffer like this. I deserve to feel better. I deserve to be happy. I work very hard. I've, so let's find a way to like not feel like this. So I've always been working on myself internally, but I think most of that is resolved. A lot of it came down to like looking at myself and feeling comfortable with myself, like feeling comfortable with my body, trusting myself, and being like, and just believing in myself. That's really what it was. It wasn't anything physical. It wasn't anything physical. It was just me kind of having to be like, okay, yes, I see my own worth no matter what I look like. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I notice, it's more mental with bodybuilding because, well, I would just be like thinking that, it's just about working out. I mean, yeah, it is mental, but I just thought it's just like mental in the terms of just working out, just see how many reps you do and all that stuff. But it,
Yeah.
it seemed like it's more deeper than that. You could
Yeah,
be a bodybuilder and you still not healthy, and so
exactly. Exactly.
what's the difference between that and before, if you can answer that?
What's the difference between that and what?
Like, what's the difference like between like you being a bodybuilder now and you got to worry about all these pressures and stuff like that than before when you wasn't working out?
Oh, um, that's a really good question. Uh, it's a lot harder now.
Yeah,
But it's a lot more rewarding now, and it's a lot more satisfying. And I feel like hmm, I feel like really accomplished because of it. Like I wouldn't want to go back to that lifestyle. But it is a lot harder. So I wanted to say there's a lot of positive before I say the negative. There's a ton of positive, and that's why I
yeah,
am the way I am. But yeah, it's like really weird. At times I was like, why is it that like when I was fat, I felt more confident than now? But it's just because we have really high expectations and they continue to get higher as we continue to get better. And that's a
right.
good thing. So, yeah. And like you were saying with the I didn't realize, it was deep in that. It depends on who you talk to. I think for me it is very deep, and it does have a very deep like meaning like in my heart. For other reasons too, just because like that's what keeps me going, and that's what motivates me
Yeah.
is the connection I have to it, and the deeper it gets, the more motivated I am to kill it. But when it comes to training
I'm
in the
sorry.
gym,
Woo. I'm
what?
sitting on the pillow. It's hard. Woo.
Oh
You go
no.
ahead, talk. Ah, woo. Go ahead. I
Oh
gotta
man.
sit. I gotta sit on the thing.
You're good.
Woo.
You're good.
Ah,
Yeah,
woo.
the training in the
Yeah. Go
gym
ahead.
is the training is hard. Uh, but I think the training is the easy part for me because I love to push myself through that, through that physical pain. That's easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for me.
For all the rage, George Page, I think there should be more health, mental, and financial assistance for you competitors. Yeah, yeah, you guys, like, y'all don't really get that much money,
It's
like the traveling, yeah, and you're not a pro yet, so I can imagine, like, that you don't have no sponsors or nothing like that to help you out, or
uh,
that's a lot,
yeah, it's
so.
true. And I think the it depends on like what you do for a living too. So like for many of us,
Right.
we're personal trainers. Like we don't get health insurance. Um Typically when you're a personal trainer, you don't get insurance. That's just how it works. When you work for another company, unless you're working, it has to be a specific way, right? But for me,
Yeah.
and depends on the state, but for me, like that's how it's always been. Like we've never had dental, health, time off, 401k, nothing like that. So we are having to like, it is hard. It's a hard lifestyle. And there's not a lot of like I have multiple jobs. Like, I don't know what else to do. I've been, also, it's fine with me. I knew that I would have to do that. If I get sponsors and stuff along the way, that's amazing. But like, I also know that like the struggle is necessary, but his point is true. Like there isn't a lot out there for competitors, particularly for female competitors. And the payout is less. And that is not just bodybuilding, obviously. It's
Yeah.
soccer. It's like it's women's sports in general. It's anything. But
Yeah,
that
that's true. I was telling somebody that.
And I will
Yeah.
say, like, I have to say that I understand it. Like, and I'm not mad at it. Like, I am a bit mad at it, but I understand why it is the way it is. And that's just because, like, it's money in, money out. Like, they can't give us money if we're not making it. If we're not bringing in the traffic, like, what are this? Yes, we do deserve to get paid better, and we should get promoted better. That will probably bring in the traffic, and there's systematic
Yeah.
things we could do to fix it. But I understand the symptom, which is we get underpaid, and that's how it is. And hopefully that will change, and hopefully female bodybuilding will continue to grow bigger and bigger, and continue to gain traction. I hope so. We'll see. You know.
Yeah, before yeah, I want to show some pictures of you. But,
That's me. I haven't posted anything in a while. I suck.
I do like this.
My Halloween there. I think the
Yeah,
best stuff is like my videos that I posted recently, but that kind of I realized like when I was talking to George, I was like my Instagram kind of sucks. I don't have any content. I need to get on that. I
yeah. I
just
noticed you got like 500 followers and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nothing, right?
I mean, well, how long you started doing that, like on Instagram? How long you been on Instagram?
So I took a huge break from social media and I used to have, yeah, I
Oh,
took a huge break because it's hard on my mental health and that's why I'm not super involved, but I want to be better. However, I started probably being dedicated probably like 2 years ago, like being dedicated. Yeah.
yeah. See, that's the thing, with I don't blame you because, like, let's say if you was there, you would do like probably half naked. You gotta be half naked, and then you'll be having all them followers and all that crazy stuff. Because a lot of bodybuilders, they do go to that route. Some of them they do stuff on the side like session wrestling and yeah,
Yeah.
I've met some bodybuilders, on that do sessions and all that stuff like that. So
Like respect to them and I also don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just
yeah,
know how I feel. I've been through stuff. I've done some stuff and like I know how I feel when I do participate in that kind of stuff, no matter what it
yeah,
is. Like, it just makes me like the idea of being paid for it makes me feel. And plus, the fantasies can be kind of wild. Not gonna lie, they can ask you to do some crazy shit, and sometimes I'm just simply not
yeah,
comfortable. So, like, that's a big part of why I just never go there. Because people, you never know. I don't trust people. But anyway, um, that might be a me problem. But yeah, I just know.
not everybody can do that though. It's because it seemed like it's a lot. Like I know it's this site. It's called Utopia, and a lot of bodybuilders and IFBB pros, have done that, like the wrestling and all that, the session videos and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. I download videos, but at the same token, it's like it do kind of make you think, like, yeah, that's how they get their money, because they're not getting paid like that. So I
Yeah,
kind of understand, but at the same time, it's like, and it's not even just bodybuilders. It's just women in general. You can be average woman, and it's easy for you to get, to
exactly.
expose yourself or be on OnlyFans, and
Right. That's
but then
why.
then it's no, I was just gonna say then there's a backlash to it, like it affects you. Like let's see an employee sees you doing that, and it could, and even your kids, like let's say, because what's her name, Tia Mowry, she
Mm,
did something like that.
yeah.
She was dressing up kind of a bit 304, like as they say it,
Mm,
and her
she
son
like
got on him and stuff.
didn't she accidentally post a picture? She accidentally posted something.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember her son didn't like the idea. She was dressing up kind of sleazy and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
so yeah.
Um,
Let me see. Make the content that make you happy. That's what he
exactly.
says.
That's why. Because like it has to serve me in my life. And I would be more comfortable getting another job than like you were saying earlier. You said something along the lines of um like women, it's not just bodybuilding. Like that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I don't see it as just a bodybuilding thing. I see it as just another.
Yeah,
It's like OnlyFans with just a different filter on it. Like I don't see
yeah,
any difference. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do OnlyFans, so I wouldn't do that.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's just where I'm at now. Like, I've done stuff like that before, and there's a reason, like, I'm saying that because I've been on both sides. And like I said, I don't think there's anything really wrong with it other than the actual effect it has on society. So that's something wrong
Yeah.
with it. That's another reason I don't participate, because it kind of fucks people up. And it's like unreasonable to be looking at a freaking chiseled looking, like Greek god looking man, okay, or woman, and asking them to do stuff that's your fantasy, right? Your fantasy's fulfilled, okay? You can watch that video, but you're never gonna have that in real life. So what's that doing to your brain chemicals? Well, we know what it's doing, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
get into that. We know what it's doing, but it's fucking you up, basically. So I don't want to be a part of that system either. That's my
Yeah.
deeper reason.
He says, I know a female about MMA fighters that do OnlyFans. Yeah, I remember he told me something like that. Yeah. So let me. Yeah, I know you do horses too. Like, what got you? What made you do? You did it at a young age. You was riding horses.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
What made you? What made you do? What made you do like competitions and riding horses and all that stuff?
Uh
What got
when I
you? I mean, got you.
when I was like 8, I would think I was 8 years old. Um that was the age that you could join this program called 4-H. Do you know what 4-H is?
No, I don't know.
I'm not sure if 4-H is, it is nationwide, but basically it's a volunteer run organization which has many clubs of many different kinds. You can find things such as animals and hobbies. Like, you can find 4-H clubs for model trains. You can find 4-H clubs for chickens. So, it's meant to be like a youth program that it's a big part of, like, um I think the world. I mean, it's a pretty cool organization. It's been around for a long time.
Future
And Future
farmers.
Farmers. It's kind of like FFA. It's kind of like Future Farmers of America. Yeah, it's similar. So basically, I was small. The age of entry for that program was 8, and my mom always had a dream to have like horses and stuff. And at the same time, my aunt, her sister, they moved nearby and they had property. And my aunt, I don't know if she had already owned horses or anything like that. If that was the first time, I don't know, but they had a barn and they had like a lot of pasture. It was a really nice place. Pretty much like it's like around the corner from my childhood house. So we spent time there. We got into it there, and then eventually my mom was like, my whole family kind of got together. Yeah, and my let's say my mom's whole side kind of were like farmish farmish. I don't know what they already had like a little bit of background, it seems like. I don't really know, I was so small. But she kind of pushed me, and then we got a horse, a free one. My grandma, my step grandma, found a free horse, found this horse for me.
Yeah.
And he was 30. He was They gave us paperwork on his like his overall information, and usually it usually will tell the date of birth and stuff. And it said it was wrong. They had like faked it, and they lied to us and said he was like 22, but he was actually 30.
Yeah.
um and we found out he was 30 because they had some, you can look at their teeth and find out. And he was white, and he was an Arab. So if you've ever seen those horses, they're the ones that hold their head really high and their tail really high too. And they're like prancy, you know? And so that was him. And he was very funny and he was bad.
Yeah.
There was a time where, so they'd wear like a halter, which is like that thing they wear on their head where you can lead them around with. Many animals have different ways, but yeah, we put a halter on them, and then we put a lead rope like underneath to hold them, to walk them around. Okay, so I tied him up to a post, which is normal. And as soon as I took 5 steps away, he like pulled back. He like sat down and back until the freaking thing broke. So every time I tied him up, he would pull until it broke. Whether it was the thing
Yeah,
itself or his halter, he would break it. So he was bad boy. But he was a
yeah,
good he was a good first one. He
yeah.
took care of me. I mean, he was 30 years old. But that's how I got into it. And then over the years, I competed at the state competitions, the county
Yeah.
competitions, and in other organizations that were outside of the 4-H. We also competed in the Paint Horse Association, which is the breed association related to the horse that I had later on.
Can I ask
Um,
you something real quick? Like you was jumping fences like when you was competing, like you was running and what you was running with the horse and you had to
uh,
jump like over fences. Like I see that on TV and stuff.
So I don't do that. That is something that I've
Yeah.
tried. I've tried it. It's really fun. It's
Oh,
really scary. um, and you have to have like a specific horse to do that, you know? Like they have to be the
yeah.
ones that we had
Okay.
didn't do that. Like they weren't bred to do that, but any horse could do it, just like any dog could do it, right? But
Yeah.
no, I wasn't doing that. However, something really, really cool. I used to show, so I showed competed with and owned the big horses, like the regular size. And then I also competed with the little ones, the ones that are like about waist height. They're like miniature horses, those ones?
Wait, the miniature horses?
Yeah.
Wait.
Have you ever seen those?
I
Come
got
on.
it. My mind is kind of drifting a little.
They just
Not
look
not what you're saying, but it's like what you telling me with the horse.
okay. So like I used to show the big horses and I used to show miniature horses as well. So
Oh, like the ponies or something
yeah,
like that, or okay, okay.
exactly.
Now see now, okay, I got you.
Exactly.
I got you.
So
Okay, okay.
with the big ones, we would do like not jumping, other stuff, and not barrel racing,
Yeah,
other stuff. It's hard to explain, but we would get like scored on our like like what we could do with the horse. Like they'd give us patterns and we'd execute next to other competitors, and we would all like be judged, whatever. So but with the little horses, I put a cart on the back of them, and then I would drive them, and then that's
you
how you
put a
did.
card.
Yeah,
Oh, you.
like a
you
like a
no, I
cart
was
or like
waiting for you to. You said a cart, like which?
with wheels.
Oh, okay.
Like
Oh.
you go to if you've ever gone to like a fair and you see the Clydesdales with the cart behind it. Yes, it's like that but small. Anyway,
I'm
so
not even sure cause real quick, I think like I'm not too far from the park, and I do see people ride the horses and stuff like that. I remember like one time, years ago, decades ago, I rode a horse, but that was just one time. So I don't really have like so much knowledge with the horse thing
yeah,
like
so
that.
you can ride the horses, but you can also drive them. So you can put a cart behind them.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry, I'm not focusing. I'm like,
Oh, it's okay.
I'm thinking because you riding a horse and
Yeah.
you saying car. Like, okay, now I got you. Like the 1800s or night. Okay, now we on the same page now. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's kind of hard to visualize it, like a horse with a cart
Yeah,
behind it. It's like, but
yeah.
anyway, so I did both of those things. I showed the big horses and the little horses for like 15, 16 years, and then transition to bodybuilding. But I went all the way to world championships. I had a very successful career. I am a talented writer, I'll say that. I had various horses. I competed actually on a college team as well. I competed at the Washington State University's team at one of the
Mm.
highest levels, which was really cool. I did pretty well there.
It
But
comp I'm sorry. In competition, but you had to race people with the cart and a horse or something like that.
no, it was it. it was it was like you could the same as the big ones. They would give a
Yeah.
pattern, and there was like different classes. So they would, for some of the classes, they would give a pattern to everyone. Everyone would learn it, everyone would execute, and then the judges would judge. And then a different way to do it would be they're judging now they're so in that situation they judge both of you guys together. How do you work together? How pretty is it? And then in a different situation they're judging how well is the horse, like how good does the picture look, like how well is this horse bred. And some of that you can't really control. They're looking at the movement patterns of the horse and how nice it looks, basically, and how the horse flows and moves, if it uses its body correctly, if it's engaged head to toe. Oh, I used to judge horses as well, so I have a bit of knowledge there. So, but anyway, where was I going? One class pattern, other class just judged based on that stuff. So
Okay.
both were applicable for the big horses and the little horses. So that's what we did. But when it came to the college competing, that's way more fun to talk about. So um we only compete with big horses at the college level, like the collegiate level. So that stuff with the miniature horses, that was just like on the side for fun, and that was something that was offered to me at the time. But basically, at competition, at meets with the college, um, I can't remember what the organization's called, doesn't really matter too much, but God, it was called IS something, international, I don't know, but it's kind of like how you have like 2A, 4A schools like that. Um, there are like two levels basically separating the equestrian sports from club rec and 2A or whatever the case, or I'm sorry, what is it? Being in the NCAA. So unfortunately for me, we were right below the necessary like participants for. We
Mhm.
got classified into the not NCAA, so that changes things a little bit. But you get you go to the competition. They give you a jar. You stick your hand in and you draw a name. You get a name of a horse. You've never met the horse before or seen it. You wait till your time's to go. They give you a pattern to learn. You learn the pattern yourself and hope you can do it. When it's time, they bring you to a separate area. You meet the horse for the first time. You get straight on the horse. Someone is holding the horse. You can't control the horse yet. They take you all the way up to the arena and wait until your time to go. When they say okay, gate opens, all competitors in. This is the first time you've ever ridden this horse. And that's the whole thing about it. And that's why they do
Yeah.
it. So, you try your best to work it out. You've never ridden the horse, but suddenly you're being judged. So it's quite an experience. And you can imagine how crazy that is. Because we're all trying to make it look pretty and make it look good and make it look flawless and win the thing. But we've never friggin' met this horse before. It could be like a nutcase. You never even know. You're like sitting on,
Yeah.
for example, the first one I ever drew. He was a dick. His name was Lefty.
Lefty.
Lefty. Why was he named Lefty? Okay, well, I
Yeah.
found out they named him Lefty because he only goes left.
Oh wow.
So
So he was a dick. Wow. He didn't listen.
I tried to turn him around. I tried to turn him around and go right, and he started to rear. And so like we are tracking to the right. Every two steps, he's rearing. And then
Yeah.
he at one point he puts his leg over the top of the fence. And that's when I looked at my teammate and I'm like, get me off this horse. But anyway, the whole thing is you have to be a good rider. You have to be able to work with the animal, and
Yeah.
but it's so much fun. And I still to this day will ride once in a while, like
Yeah.
whenever my mom offers, because she still rides and she still competes. But since I already did that, I'm like, okay, mom, like this is for you now. Like, you don't have to, like, I don't need to get on the horse. Like, you don't need to pay for me to compete. You don't need to do this. Like, this is for you. But she always insists, like, I want you to ride Bella. Like, I want you to just get on her. Like, you don't have to compete or anything, but just, you want to come down to the barn with me or whatever. So whenever, that's a good time for us to spend time together. And also, it's a really good escape from everything in the world, because like going to do something physical that is not, first of all, for me, not gym related, that helps. But also doing something physical, it's kind of like meditative, because not, I don't just ride, like I have to do barn chores as well. Like I have to, if I'm going
Yeah.
there, I'm probably gonna clean the stall, probably gonna like take care of the horse a bit, you know, do the regular things that you do. And that in itself is very refreshing.
Yeah. Where do you live? Like, if you comfortable, if you feel comfortable to
Yeah.
tell me, I don't know, because I
So
live in New
I,
York City and it's like it's big. It's like New York is a lot.
yeah.
So,
So I live in Washington State. I currently
oh,
live,
okay, Washington.
yes, so I'm on the other side. So the other Washington. So I currently live, um, excuse me, about 12 miles from Seattle. Um, and I live about 30 miles from where I grew up, which is in the woods. So that gives you kind of perspective. Like, I'm in a really, I'm pretty much in a city area. I live like right across from like the downtown. I hate it.
Right.
But I don't hate it, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's where I live now.
yeah. Well, we could show some clips of you working out. Hold on. Yeah. You heard the sound?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
hear
yeah.
it? Okay.
That's
All
cool.
right. I gotta be careful because sometimes YouTube they be like, that's it's a copyright.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not gonna get a strike, but sometimes it's like, really? But it's cool. Yeah, like that's a light, like with the horses. Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So well, now go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's your
I I
show.
I was gonna say I won a couple. I won a buckle. I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, I'm gonna bring a
Yeah.
buckle before we move on.
All right.
Okay,
Show
one
me
sec,
the
one sec.
Yeah. Always yours. LOL. I guess he's laughing at the horses.
Oof. Okay, got it. All right. So in bodybuilding, we win stuff like tiaras, swords, medals, and I've won a few of those. Excuse me. But when you show horses, you win better stuff, not better stuff. You win different stuff. And one of my favorite things I ever won is this buckle. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see
Okay, that
the
look kind of
detail.
nice. Yeah,
It's
it
pretty.
look nice.
Yep, and that's my favorite winning. And my favorite winning from bodybuilding is probably going to be the, I got some medals and they're pretty big, but this one you can actually
Yeah.
wear. So I just want to share that.
Yeah. How was prep for you, like in bodybuilding? Like,
So it actually, I prepped, I'm not natural anymore, but I was at the time. So I prepped natural and that
yeah,
was really hard. Like, it's really hard to be natural. Like, being natural is harder than being enhanced. I will say that. Yeah. You're welcome. And the prep itself, overall, it went smoothly because I had a really, really good coach and he was really calm with me. because I tend to get like second guess myself, but he helped me stay on track. And then when it came down to like stage time and all that, I will say I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I was happy that I made it. There was a tiny bit of disappointment though, because I felt I wasn't ready to be on stage as far as my conditioning was concerned. I was still I had probably 15 pounds I could have, not 15, probably 10 pounds I could have lost, you know? And
Yeah.
so I kind of felt like it's okay because it was my first show. And that's what my coach said. He's like, look, you're not going to be peeled, okay, the first time. So you're going to have to be okay with that. But besides that fact, oh my God, there were times where, oh my God, I want to share a story actually that will answer your question. I had a day where I was sitting in my car outside the gym. I had 2 competitions lined up. So my prep was 24 weeks long. Okay. So I can't remember at what point. It was probably 14 weeks into my prep. Um, I was having a really, really bad day and I felt like I can't go in the gym today. And I have a friend named Jose. I saw his truck parked outside the gym. We were close friends. We are close friends.
Mm.
And I texted him. He's like, "Hey, are you at the gym?" I'm like, he actually texted me. I was like, "Weird. Yes, I am, but I'm not inside." He's like, "Oh, I saw your car." I was like, "Yeah, I was in there." But he's like, "Okay, why didn't you tell me?" So anyway, he comes out to my car, and we talk for a while. And he sits with me, and actually, he prays with me, and we like pray together, you know. And um, there was another moment later. I'll talk about that in a second. But there was some really hard times, and I needed that support around me, and I needed that positivity to help me get through it. And um, it wasn't so much the training, and I mean, yes, that stuff wears on you, and the diet wears on you, but it was kind of like I just was in it so long that I didn't see the end goal. And you sometimes when you're in prep, you zoom in so much that you forget to like look at the whole picture. So that was a hard part for me. Again, you can kind of tell that for me the challenges are mainly psychological. I don't have a problem pushing myself to the limit. Like I don't. So I don't have a problem doing the cardio and executing the plan. I actually like doing it. It's just getting through my own head and like breaking through that. That's going to be my challenge. You know, as a bodybuilder in my entire career, it's always going to be my own mindset, my own thought patterns. But like I already pretty much, I guess, exemplified, I'm always working on it and I'm always trying to correct that. But it was hard, and I at that moment I needed Jose to be with me to tell me that I was doing a good job. I was doing the right things and I was making progress, because your mind plays tricks on you after a while and you're just like nothing's changed in 4 weeks. And he's like, that's not true, and I'll help you see it, and let's go inside and work out.
Mm. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. All the way George Page with natural over enhanced conditioning is much different.
Yes. I was doing um I was going, oh God, I was going so hard. I was doing hit sessions 5 days a week.
Mm.
Um and then I was at the later stages doing 2 a days where I would do my workout, but then I would do a fasted cardio in the morning and a hit session after my workout. That's a lot on a natural athlete. That's a lot. I was kind of doing it to myself, but anyway, yeah. So the conditioning part is super hard, especially because from my epigenetic, from my background, I already had an increased uh I already had more challenge per se, I guess you could say, than the average competitor. Because when you're fat, what happens is not just the size grows, but the number of fat cells grow.
Mm.
So what happens is you can't decrease the number of fat cells you have in your body, okay? So you can kind of conclude from that information that it's going to create some difficulty along the way. Like you can shrink the size of them, but for me, I notice like the application of that, I notice um my body's way more receptive and way more prone to gaining fat than I think the regular competitors may be. And at the same time, over time it gets better. But um that created a huge challenge for cutting down, and it will always be that way. I just know that. I mean, that's just how it is for me. But like I said, I can't really speak. I can't really speak to. I feel as if I can't really speak to prep all the way because I feel like I didn't prep all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's just I notice, I hear different prep stories from other bodybuilders. Some it's not a problem. Some it's not very easy. It's all in the mind and stuff like that. So yeah, So thanks,
Yeah.
Jose.
Yeah. Seriously.
So
Seriously. And when I was about to get on stage the first time, this is the other part of the story that is the important part to me. I was about to get on
yeah,
stage the first time, and he, as a gift, he bought my hotel room. And anyway, I was there and he came, knocked on the door, and we're talking a bit. And I was telling him that I was feeling nervous and insecure, basically. And that's when he prayed with me again. And that
yeah,
moment was really, really special, because he, he like held my hands, and he was just saying, basically, um, some of it he said it in Spanish, and some of it he said in English. But he basically said that, um, you know, we're here and we know that Drew has put in a lot of work, and let's see what, give her the reward you think she deserves. And she's come a long way, and this has been a lot of suffering. And it's hard, when I say the words, it seems maybe just kind of like boilerplate stuff, but the moment was really powerful because he was there with me. And we it definitely stuck with me, and it's been 2 years since, and I still think about that, and it still helps me keep going. We're still friends. So yeah, that was a really important step, I think, along my journey. And I'm hoping, and the longer I go on, the more moments I have like that with various people or just with myself. So yeah, things that you don't
yeah.
expect.
She can't wait to she she can't wait till she gets pills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very antsy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said before, I mean, it's not an easy sport. Like everybody can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
I
like a guy that. No, I was just saying, I'm just the outsider, the spectator a bit. I'm just trying to understand the sport more. When I talk to a lot of you women and stuff, I don't really talk to the men like that because but I know the men they get more attention than the women and stuff.
mm, true.
So yeah,
Yeah. So
and there's
we
no, go
definitely
ahead.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So do I got more questions? No, I think that's about it. Do I mean how do you okay, like who I got two more questions. Who's your favorite bodybuilder? Is there somebody that you admire now or even like shows that you recently seen? And what else question? How long do you see yourself competing?
Hmm. Okay, I love those. All right. So first question, when it comes to my favorites, in the men's, I love Nick Walker. I know everyone might say like, okay, he's so bulky and like you and everything, but I love the look. So Nick Walker, and next Terrence Ruffin. Oh my God, love his physique. He's crazy. And for females, but oh yes, another male bodybuilder that I love so much. Unfortunately, he's passed. Rest in peace, John Meadows. John
Yeah,
Meadows. Um. Anyway, females. Hele Trevino. I think that's how you say it. She was my like OG inspiration. Like I don't
yeah,
know why. I think it was I saw a video with I. There's a couple videos I watch a lot, but there's one Wings of Strength video where she and who was it? It was, I feel like it was Iris. No, who was it? I don't remember. But there was a bunch of, oh my God, it makes me so excited talking about it. I love that video. So it was just, that's so cool. Anyway, um, I saw that video. I saw her talking. I saw her like just the way her poise and the way she held herself, carried herself. The video where she's in her home, she's like cooking her chicken, and then she's like doing a little walk outside on the beach. She's just being interviewed
I
and
think
stuff.
I seen that video. I think
Yes,
I seen that.
I
I
freaking
think I
love that
seen that.
video. Yes, I love that one. And that one is the one that like I go back to all the time. I love the lifestyle. I love her vibe. Anyway, so I love her physique. Oh my god, just everything. The shoulders, the thickness, the face, all of it. And then my current, I think, favorite bodybuilder is Chelsea Dion. I already mentioned her last time,
Yeah,
but I don't know, I just love her physique too. How she's so athletic and like her body just flows in like a beautiful way, and that's what I'm hoping to look like too. I like the how it just flows together and it looks like an athlete. It doesn't look like just muscle on a skeleton. Does that make
yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Do you think because you and her you can relate more to her because she had like a eating disorder as well. You know, she used to eat a lot. She was a bit overweight, and then she kind of started working out and stuff like that.
Ah, yes. Chelsea, you're talking about Chelsea?
Yeah, yes, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yes, excuse me.
I only learned about this stuff kind of recently. I only kind of figured out her story recently. And I saw a picture she posted, I think it was a couple days ago, where she was like, it
Yeah,
was a picture of her from like 10, 13 years ago, something like that. And
right.
I looked at that picture of her and I was like, I've been there. Like the look on her face, like the way she looked in the image, I was like, "Oh my god, like I've been there for sure." She was talking about how she felt uncomfortable, she needed to make a change in her life, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." So yeah, I just learned about that and that's even cooler. Like you already know I love her, so that makes me love her even more. Like I just feel very inspired by her and her physique and her just her vibe, how she seems to just like these bodybuilders, there's a lot of them out there that just seem to be like loving their life and enjoying it. And yes, smoke weed. I smoke weed too every day. But yeah,
I didn't know
so
she smoked herbs. I don't know how George be knowing all this shit.
she posts it. Yeah, she posts it.
Oh, okay. I don't look at her on Instagram too much like that. I can't lie. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your second question, how long am I gonna compete? I'm gonna compete as long as freaking possible. I'm gonna compete
okay.
at least a decade, at least a decade. Okay, so I've always wanted to do this like long term. And after I'm done competing in bodybuilding, I don't know when that will be. Probably after I'm done, like in my master's kind of age. I At the same time as I'm bodybuilding in my career, I'm hoping that I can branch off into other types of fitness and competitions and stuff, like CrossFit maybe, powerlifting, Olympic lifting. I love Olympic lifting, and I have some potential. So that's the long term plan.
Yeah, yeah. I got a thought coming in. Like, um, you ever thought about being in a movie, Red Sonja?
I would love to.
You got the red hair.
That's
It
so
just
crazy.
happened because I was interviewing a gentleman a couple of days ago, and he worked with some bodybuilders. And he was doing a movie with a bodybuilder. Her name was Kay Baxter, and yeah, this was like in the '80s. And
Yeah.
he kind of like how he met her. He handed her a script, and so they just got to know each other, and they did like one movie. It's called The Master Demon, and he worked with others too as well.
Oh my
So
god, that would be super cool. Like
yeah,
my secret goal is to get famous. So I would totally do that. But no OnlyFans. That's why no OnlyFans.
yeah, yeah.
No,
You-
my extra secret goal is train myself to the point where I can be like a superhuman so that just in case the world ends, I'll be here. So just when that day comes, message me. I got you. Don't worry. Make sure you message me before the internet goes down though.
yeah. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen like in decades from now because we's going through the pandemic and all that stuff. So
But you know what they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
yeah, yeah. You got a funny laugh. Are you ticklish? Do you get? Are you a ticklish person?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see you like to laugh. I can see that. I
I
can see
do.
it.
Yeah.
No beat the meat websites. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's like that's for the guys. That no, he's saying that like you know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like once you post it, it's there forever.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I really enjoyed talking with you. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. You
Thanks for
you really you teaching me something, 'cause I'm just like, learning and stuff. All I
Mhm.
just do is kind of, you like look at you women and be like, wow, her muscles look nice and stuff like that. And, but the more I'm like, I listen to like people's stories and, how they got into bodybuilding. I don't know as much as George, but, I just try to kind of understand mostly, you know,
Yeah,
because it's
definitely.
not easy. Yeah, it's not easy kind of, like interacting, like understanding the world of bodybuilders, really,
Right.
because
Yeah.
like there's people around me and they don't know, like it's not a popular sport. It's not like basketball. I know you heard it before.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So yeah. So it's it's like with us guys, it's like underground, like in social media and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
we really appreciate that. Like one day, I'm sure we're gonna be on that level too. So who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen in the future? But at least for me, my mission and the reason I want to talk with you guys and put stuff out there at all, post stuff, is to educate people and to make sure that we're educating them in a way that's actually gonna help them long term and not a way that's gonna either quick fix things or steer them wrong or put some wrong ideas in their head. Or I want to set people up, I want to educate them at the same time. I want them to know like what I'm about, what bodybuilding is about for me, and that's about like the heart and what's on the inside. And that's part that people don't really know because we bodybuilders tend to not talk about it.
yeah. I mean,
We're
it's
not.
just you guys. No, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, you guys, you mostly kind of looked as like bulky or steroid usage or fetish looking type stuff, freakish,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, and then you then just hearing you guys' stories, how you started, the struggles that you deal with, you're just human. So
Right. Yes.
mm,
Yes. And usually the biggest people you meet are the nicest people you meet because they've been through the most.
mm. Is there like one more question? Is there like a bodybuilder you met or like a popular one or any?
Mm. Um, I know quite a few. In fact, in real life, I know Missy Truscott. Do you know Missy Truscott? Who that is? She's Miss.
Yes, I heard. Yeah,
Yes. Miss
yeah,
Fitness, Olympia, Arnold, everything. She's got the title right now. She's really close to her to the Olympia. Oh my God, I saw her yesterday.
yeah. Oh
But
yeah, I
anyways,
remember somebody told said Irene, Drew, you're fire.
thank you.
I
Thank
forgot
you.
to kind of look at that and just
Oh, but
Lanthal that means you're fire.
hi. So to answer your question, I know Missy Trescott, which is super cool, but the ones that inspire me, like she inspires me, of course, by default. But one I know personally, I'm actually gonna have lunch with him after this. His name's
Yeah.
Chris. His name is Chris House, and he is a former pro bodybuilder. He's a heavyweight bodybuilder. He's 265 and he's 6 foot. So, and he's probably like 9%. So he's huge. He benches like 600 pounds. Anyway, so we're good friends and we talk all the time and he helps me a lot. And he's been a pro before in like the 90s. And that was to me one of the best times for bodybuilding. This the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe a little bit of the early 2000s, but he's really cool. He's kind of like the OG kind of bodybuilder, like simple works,
Yeah.
and that's my mindset too. So we are buddies. I see him almost every day, and I feel like that's another one of my blessings. Like not everyone gets
Yeah.
this opportunity, so I'm really happy that I have Chris in my life. And I'm actually gonna go see him now, so I'll tell him about this.
Yeah. I mean, but best of luck, with best wishes to you. You know, when you get your pro card, I wouldn't mind talking with you again. But that's up to you. But
Totally. I'm totally down anytime. Anyone that like, I'm totally down. I love the exposure and also I love talking to people and I love that you guys are interested in us and you're interested to know like what goes on behind the scenes because we are people like you said. We're not just like these, whatever you may think I'm not even going to go there.
yeah.
But we are people behind all that and there is a life behind it.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to. You know, so
Yeah, hit me up anytime you want to talk again. I'm super down. Super down.
no doubt, no doubt. Thank you.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
was
folks.
fun.
Yeah, any words for everybody? Well, you just said it, so All right, see y'all later.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for talking.